Hello, my name is Louise Lundberg Claesen and I'm a Danish author. And I want to share a little bit about the reason that I became an author. And I have wanted to do this for a while. And then today, for the first time in my life, I have put on some false lashes just for fun. And it was quite difficult, so I don't think I'll do it very often. And then I thought, well, it's a good excuse for doing the video today. So yes, when I was a child, I was reading a lot of books. I was sort of reading more or less all the time. I went to the library in the town where I lived and just borrowed a lot of children's books. Or books for young people, and then I would just read and read and read. And eventually I also started writing short stories and poems myself. And then quite early on I realized that I wanted to become an author when I grew up. And also I wanted to study comparative literature. I also realized pretty early that this was what I wanted to do. And this is what I did. So when I was 25, I was studying literature, comparative literature at university in Copenhagen. And then I had a huge spiritual experience. And it inspired me to write my collection of poems, Hannah's Song. It was published quite a few years later, but I wrote it at that time, like around more than 200 poems. And many of them I thought later they weren't good enough. So in Hannah's Song there are around 40 poems that I found were good enough to get published. So I had this huge spiritual experience, and that really changed my life in many ways. And it's interesting because I grew up with parents who were atheists, so spirituality and religion wasn't a part of my childhood at all. And then when I was around, when I was 27, I finished university and I started writing my own books. And my novels, and then when I was around 30, I met a woman who made my Tibetan horoscope, and she told me that before I came into this life, I had decided that I wanted to write books about spirituality, or that books with a spiritual dimension in them. And I for sure this is for sure what I have done. But except for my first book, where the spirituality in my first novel, Camille, is more implicit. It's not so, it's more between the lines, so to speak. And my first novel was almost published by, I think it was at least two publishing houses went very long in their it was always published in two publishing houses, and two other publishing houses showed a lot of interest. So but there were some problems around it, and the publishing houses wanted some changes that I didn't really agree with, and so on. And then one day I just got so tired of all the waiting, and then I just decided to create my own publishing house. And then Personski Publishers was born. And I also took this decision because I knew that my future books would have a lot of spirituality in them. And it's difficult in Denmark. Denmark is a very, where I come from, so it's a very pragmatic, down-to-earth country. And there are many publishing houses where I felt that they had a lot of resistance towards publishing like spiritual books, or books fiction with a spiritual dimension. And I just felt, well, if my books don't have a spiritual dimension, then there is no reason for me to publish these books or to write these books. And it goes back to the woman who saw that it was sort of my dharma to write these books, and like a decision I had taken before I even came here, because I really wanted to sort of spread consciousness around spirituality, and also as a comfort to sort of tell people, hey, you're not alone, and there is actually a meaning, and there is purpose, and there is love. Maybe the most important thing to tell is that there is love out there, and yes, so I decided to do it my own way and have my own publishing house, and so that I could fully be myself and fully write the books that I need to write. And this is what I have done and am doing. And it's sometimes challenging, and I work, but it's also very, very nice because I can choose the people that I want to work with. I mean, I ask a woman that I know, an editor that I know, to edit my book, and I ask a graphic designer. I mean, I can choose myself. I'm not having to do things that I don't want to do, and I'm my own boss. So I haven't regretted it, but it's sometimes a lot of work, of course, and yes, I'm doing a lot myself. So yeah, I hope that I have told all. I think I have told the most important. And if you're interested, oh yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. It is that my books are definitely about spirituality, and it's very important. I mean, it's like a crucial dimension in my books, but they are also about normal human life, about love between people, and loving nature, and having problems, and I mean, normal human issues, sensuality, and so on. So yes, please read them if you feel like it.